Welcome to Chapter 12. French victory, 1429–1453. Main article, 100 Years' War, 1415–1453. Joan of Arc and French revival. The English laid siege to Orléans in October 1428, which created a stalemate for months. Food shortages within the city led to the likelihood that the city would be forced to surrender. In April 1429, Joan of Arc persuaded the Dauphin to send her to the siege, stating she had received visions from God telling her to drive out the English. She entered the city on April 29, after which the tide began to turn against the English within a matter of days. She raised the morale of the troops, and they attacked the English redoubts, forcing the English to lift the siege. Inspired by Joan, the French took several English strongholds on the Loire River. The English retreated from the Loire Valley, pursued by a French army. Near the village of Patay, French cavalry broke through a unit of English longbowmen that had been sent to block the road, then swept through the retreating English army. The English lost 2,200 men, and the commander, John Talbot, 1st Earl of Shrewsbury, was taken prisoner. This victory opened the way for the Dauphin to march to Reims for his coronation as Charles VII, on the 16th of July 1429. After the coronation, Charles VII's army fared less well. An attempted French siege of Paris was defeated on the 8th of September 1429, and Charles VII withdrew to the Loire Valley. Henry's coronations and the desertion of Burgundy. Henry VI was crowned King of England at Westminster Abbey on the 5th of November 1429 and King of France at Notre Dame, in Paris, on the 16th of December 1431. Joan of Arc was captured by the Burgundians at the siege of Compiègne on the 23rd of May 1430. The Burgundians then transferred her to the English, who organized a trial headed by Pierre Corcan, Bishop of Beauvais and a collaborator with the English government who served as a member of the English Council at Rouen. Joan was convicted and burned at the stake on the 30th of May 1431. She was rehabilitated 25 years later by Pope Calixtus III. After the death of Joan of Arc, the fortunes of war turned dramatically against the English. Most of Henry's royal advisers were against making peace. Among the factions, the Duke of Bedford wanted to defend Normandy, the Duke of Gloucester was committed to just Calais, whereas Cardinal Beaufort was inclined to peace. Negotiations stalled. It seems that at the Congress of Arras, in the summer of 1435, where the Duke of Beaufort was mediator, the English were unrealistic in the demands. A few days after the Congress ended in September, Philip the Good, Duke of Burgundy, deserted to Charles VII, signing the Treaty of Arras that returned Paris to the King of France. This was a major blow to English sovereignty in France. The Duke of Bedford died on the 14th of September 1435 and was later replaced by Richard Plantagenet, 3rd Duke of York. The allegiance of Burgundy remained fickle, but the Burgundian focus on expanding the domains in the Low Countries left them little energy to intervene in the rest of France. The long truces that marked the war gave Charles time to centralize the French state and reorganize his army and government, replacing his feudal levies with a more modern professional army that could put its superior numbers to good use. A castle that once could only be captured after a prolonged siege would now fall after a few days from cannon bombardment. The French artillery developed a reputation as the best in the world. By 1449, the French had retaken Rouen. In 1450 the Count of Clermont and Arthur de Richemont, Earl of Richmond, of the Montfort family, the future Arthur III, Duke of Brittany, caught an English army attempting to relieve Caen and defeated it at the Battle of Formigny in 1450. Richemont's force attacked the English army from the flank and rear just as they were on the verge of beating Clermont's army. Chapter 13 will be continued.